Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing well. My name is Caroline, and in today's video we'll be going into something that at first seems a little bit confusing, but I'm hoping that I'm going to explain this in a super simple way, so whether you're a parent, skater or coach, you walk away from this video feeling a little bit more confident than you did before. And this is all about RollArt scoring. Before we get into it, just a quick note. Everything that I'm sharing with you today has been based off of my own knowledge, research and understanding of the RollArt system. I used the GBSA documents and regulations to find out as much as I could. Please do not take any of this information as gospel. I'm not a judge or an official, so please check with your federation or your coaches, especially if you are preparing for a competition. Alright then, so what is RollArt? RollArt is a scoring system that helps judges to decide how well a skater has performed. Not just what they did, but how they did it. Let's understand what a base score is. Every element in skating has a base level score. Think of this like a starting point. So, for example, a footwork sequence might have a base level score of 4 points. So in the case of artistic roller skating, and I'm talking about free dance, maybe style dance here as well, a skater is scored on two main parts, and those are firstly skating elements and skating components. A skating element is all of the technical stuff like spins, jumps, turns, and skating components consist of 4 parts, and those are performance, choreography, transitions, and skating skills. This is how a judge decides how well a skater has performed that element. For example, did they do it cleanly, was it creative, or did it match the music? Now, if a skating element is skated well, points can be added to the base level score. However, if a skating element is performed with mistakes or messy, points can be taken away from that base level score. For example, a base level score of 4 points could become 4.6 if skated well. However, it could also be reduced to a 3.3 if it's not quite there. It's also important to note that base level scores can be dependent on the age or category that you're in. Sometimes there can be a maximum to what you can achieve. It also depends on the level of the element that you've chosen to perform. Alright, now let's talk about skating components. So skating components are marked separately. Skating components are marked from 0.25 up to 10, however this can be dependent on the age or category that you're in. Each of these skating components get their own score based off of the judge's QOE. They're then added to the technical score to combine to get a total overall score for the skater. So let's say a skater got a mark of 12.5 for their skating elements and a score of 10 for their skating components. This means combined they get an overall score of 22.5. Now, one of the main reasons I wanted to make this video is because I feel it is really important for skaters, parents and coaches to understand how the scoring works, mainly because it helps to set skaters' goals, targets, and it helps you to feel in control of your performance. And not to mention, it helps to answer a lot of questions about those result sheets when they come out. So now let's try to break down one of the score sheets. So I'm going to try and walk you through what one of these might look like and just go through each section and show you how it's calculated and what to look for. Okay, so this is what a score sheet should end up looking like once you have finished competing. The first thing that we're going to look for on this sheet is that it is in fact yours. So we can find our name in the top left of the sheet, and you can also find your skating category at the very top above where it says Judges Detail per Skater. Some other information you can find on here is the technical panel, and you can also see all of your judges listed at the bottom of the score sheet. The next thing that we have to make sense of is the skating elements. So you can see in the bits which I've highlighted in pink, all the acronyms for the skating elements chosen for this category. You can also see next to it that they have explained in more detail what those acronyms mean. So if you're not sure what that is, then it's got further information for you. You can also see all of the base element values for those skating elements chosen. Now, the bit that can be confusing is looking at a bunch of zeros, plus ones and minus twos and things like that from the QOE and not understanding what this means. Basically, each of these QoE scores relate to a specific numerical value that you can find in the dance and solo values on RollArt. I found this on the GBSA website, so just have a look, or I'll try and put it in the link below for you. But as a quick example, if we look at the cluster sequence, a +1 in this case is the equivalent in the dance value to a 0.7. Now the next bit that can be confusing is understanding how we get the total QoE score, so the bit that is highlighted in green. So in this case, from my understanding of my own research, is that each of the judges' QoE scores are taken. The highest and the lowest score are disregarded, and then an average score is taken from those dance values. This results in the QoE score. In this case, we have, for example, in the cluster sequence, an overall average of 0.23. So from this score sheet, we can see that this skater has achieved all of the base level requirements for their elements, as none of them have been grayed off and marked as low level. We can see the total for their base value, which is 29.8. The QoE marks are then added on top of these to give us our total score, which is the bit that I've highlighted in the red. You can also see this total element score in the yellow section at the top, where I've also highlighted it in red. So the next thing that we have to make sense of is where the skating components are. These are listed just below the skating elements, and you can see I've highlighted this in pink for you. You can also see the base level achievable for this skater, where I've highlighted it in pink as well. The next thing that happens is the judges give a QoE score for each of the skating components, which you can see in orange. Once again, the same as before, the average is taken. This is added to the base level score to give us our total of 29.47, which you can see I've highlighted in red. And once again, this can be found in the yellow section at the top, just next to the total element score. Now the next thing to make sense of is if any deductions have been taken from you. You can see where deductions have been taken in the bottom left of the score sheet or the top right, next to your total component score in the yellow section. This might be due to a fall, maybe a mistake or a question violation or something like that. Okay, and then all that's left to do is to add the total element score to the total component score, see if there's any deductions that need to be minused from the score, and that will give us our total score, which will be in the top left of our scoring sheet, and I've highlighted this in red for you. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the score sheets. Hopefully that makes sense and has given you a bit more confidence to know what you're looking for when you are looking at a score sheet. Because from my own experience, when RollArt first came out, I did not know what on earth was going on. But after doing a bit of research, it's all starting to make sense, and hopefully this has helped you to figure it out as well. So now that I have a much better understanding of RollArt, I think it is a really useful way to set target scores for your skaters. This helps them to understand what their goals are, what they need to work on, and what they can work towards. So if this is something that you're not doing yet with your skaters, if this is something that you've not understood yet, I definitely recommend doing a bit of research and making this part of your daily practice. And for any of the skaters that are watching, I really recommend that you start to look through all of the different QoEs for any of the elements that you have in your routines, or any of the skating component QoEs as well, because it really just outlines in a nice, simple and clear way what it is that you have to do to achieve your points, and what are some of the targets you could work towards achieving as well. That is RollArt pretty much in a nutshell. I hope number one, I've explained it clearly, and number two, I've explained it correctly. So feel free to let me know in the comments if there's anything that maybe wasn't correct and I can update it. But like I said at the beginning, this is all from my own research and understanding. And I'm sure as the years goes on, there will be a few updates and changes. So like I said, don't take it as gospel, make sure you do your own research, but hopefully it has helped you to feel a little bit more confident in understanding what it all means. So if you found this video useful, be sure to give it a like and subscribe, and share it to someone if you think they need a little bit of help understanding RollArt. I'd love to make more of these videos to the best of my ability, of course. So if there's any elements or skating components that you want me to break down, or maybe walk through the QoE of those, make sure to pop it in the comments and I will be happy to do my best to make a video for you. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.